welcome back to my channel. Welcome if you're new here. So finally I'm gonna make the long-awaited video. I did a little poll on my community tab and kind of asked what kind of video you guys would like to see, and my 2-minute video won. So I'm kind of excited about that because I've been meaning to talk about this for a while. I wanted to test it out first before I brought it to you guys. So yeah, that's what we're going to talk about today, and let's get into the video. So first things first, I want to make a little disclaimer. If you are somebody who likes robotic affirming, who has had great success with robotic affirming and just enjoys the process, you can still watch this video, but technically, it's not for you. You don't need to change anything if you found a method for you that works. This is more for the people that either have a hard time with robotic affirming or just can't stick to it as well, neurodivergent people. So, I don't want to say that one way is better than the other necessarily. I am going to tell you why my method is more accurate from a science standpoint, in terms of why it makes more sense to use this one if you are someone who needs science and tangible reasons behind why I switch things up, because that's how my brain operates. I need to research anything and everything to make sure it makes sense. So, but yeah, if you are someone who loves robotic affirming and you've had great success with it, you can still watch this video, but don't think that I'm saying it's not working. It is absolutely working, especially because it's the law of assumption, but it is definitely working. I'm just going to explain to you why there might be a method that would be more beneficial if you want to A, technically get faster results, and B, just don't work as much. I made a little short where I said that I basically gave up on robotic affirming. That's not necessarily true. My brain gave up on it, essentially. I was able to always stick with it for maybe a day or two at most. Oftentimes I would forget about it, or I would get really tired and exhausted. So I started doing a little bit of research into why robotic affirming works, and it turns out that the reason why it works is because you are, well, A, exhausting your brain extensively to the point where eventually it just gives up and your subconscious is taking over. So everything you are putting in is coming in, but that's not just your affirmations. It's basically everything around you is coming into your brain at that time. Secondly, what also happens, and this is kind of where we get into the new technique that I'm doing, when you are robotically affirming, let's say you are robotically affirming consistently for 1 hour straight, chances are that out of those 60 minutes, you might only have, let's say, 1, maybe 5 minutes max where you are actually manifesting or imprinting your subconscious, because your subconscious then goes into a state of flow, or you're just in a really good space mentally without realizing. It doesn't even matter what you're doing. We know that there are certain ways where we can get our brain into that meditative state, but if you are, let's say, doing chores, there might only be a very short window where you are in a place where your subconscious is actively taking in your assumption and imprinting it and overriding your old assumptions. So technically the rest of the 55 minutes that you're affirming are wasted. They're not doing anything. They're not changing anything. They might not even change how you feel. So even when you're, for example, anxious and you're just trying to affirm through that, you are going to get to a point eventually where your anxiety just flips. But this is the really short window where you are switching from the old assumption to the new assumption, even if it's just temporarily. But in order to keep up with that, you're going to have to consistently do it over and over again. Let's say you're, wanting to manifest something overnight. In order to do that, you may think, I have to affirm for 8 hours. But out of those 8 hours, there might literally be only let's say 20 minutes that are actually worth your time. So you are basically, say hi to Baka. You are basically burning yourself out for no reason to get the same result. You are exhausting for basically the same payoff. And that really essentially in my mind made no sense, because why would you do that? And also it is a very hit and miss situation where you are affirming for 8 hours, but A, you don't even know how much time you put into it, which if you don't care about that, that's fine. I personally care about that. But second of all, you are basically, it's like a whack-a-mole. You're trying to make sure that you hit the right spot without even realizing that that's what you're doing. So you are basically just affirming, hoping that once you know that this is how your brain works, that you are finding that particular moment and you are in the state, in the flow state during that time, during that 1 hour, right? Finding those 5 minutes. So to me, that literally made no sense. It was a waste of my time. It was a waste of my energy. And I started looking into ways that I could do that a little bit differently. So I personally love ASMR. Now, you don't have to use ASMR. You can use basically anything and everything that kind of makes you calm, or even if you or even if you don't want to like listen to anything, you just want to sit down for like a minute or two, just take a couple of deep breaths and then just loop your affirmation or your visualization. I'm going to make a separate video about how to visualize correctly and the difference between daydreaming and visualizing, which is why I think a lot of people don't get what they want because they don't understand the difference and nobody's explained it properly before. So either way, let's go just with like affirmations right now. So you're saying your affirmations, and the way I do it is I say them as long as I feel good about it. When I don't feel good about it anymore, I stop. Normally, and this is the thing, it hits me between 30 seconds to 2.5 minutes. Sometimes when I have a really, really good day, I might hit 3 minutes, okay, on a really good day. And what you have to do after though, and this is the really, really important part that I think nobody talks about, your brain needs time to file what you just imprinted. So the way I do it is just rule of thumb, double the time. So if I affirm for 3 minutes, I file for 6 minutes. Normally, the way I do it is I either continue to sit down and just listen to ASMR, or I get up and I walk, or I do a chore or something. The important part is that in that window, you should not be allowing any other information in that is either emotional or tied to what you're affirming, or even just letting any emotion in that could stir your brain into a different direction or distract it in some capacity. That's the most important part, because if you're not filing it, you are doing the work, but it takes so much longer because you're basically putting in, let's say, 100% of the information, but if you're not filing it correctly, your brain might only put 50% of the folders away. So that 50% just is up in the ether, essentially. And then you have to do it again, which is why you then have to do it so many times throughout the day, over and over again, to get the same result. And again, that's a waste of your time and it's a waste of your capacity. Your brain is so smart and knows exactly how to do it when you work with it. So, and even 30 seconds are more than enough. Like really, I promise you, more than enough. I normally try to do it 2 to 3 times a day. If I want something really badly same day, I might do it 5 times or so, depending on how I feel or when I have time. There are days where I forget and then I do it the next day and it still works. Normally, like the way I've experienced it, I would get results within 2 to, I want to say 16 hours. More or less, like the give or take, you know. If I don't care about it that much, it might take a couple days, but I still get results, or I get like signs that it's on the way. And I actually did a little experiment yesterday where I was affirming for something, and I didn't really affirm that deeply. I think I took like 30 seconds to affirm and kind of make a decision. And then I was like, okay, and if this is on the way already, my subconscious imprinted it, I want to see a purple butterfly. Now, they're kind of rare, like, you know, even the little emoji is blue. So I was like, I'm just gonna do that. And then I just randomly, like the most random video showed up on my recommended on YouTube, and I wasn't even going to watch it. I was on my way to do something else, and then that got disrupted. And then I was like, okay, I'll just watch the video because I have like 10 minutes to spare. And then the blue butterfly emoji came up and I was like, okay, that's a butterfly and it's blue, but it's not purple. 5 minutes later, she starts making a drink that literally is purple and was like a butterfly drink. And I was like, okay, that is really, really close. I will take that as a sign. And again, that was like 2 hours from when I made that decision. And then at the very end of her video, another video of hers got recommended where she baked a cake and it had purple butterflies on it. Okay, so very, very fast. It was really nice. But you can even do little experiments like that. I can make a whole video about just experiments if you guys want. Yeah, so you can test it out to see if that works for you. But I can just tell you from experience, using ASMR or just sitting down and doing nothing, the most important thing is that during the time when you're affirming, no other input. It doesn't matter what it is. Like you could, let's say, affirm for money, but then watch a gossip video about celebrities. That's still emotional input. Like it doesn't even have to be tied to this topic directly. It just cannot be emotional input in any way, shape, or form, because it's confusing your subconscious, and you literally just opened it, did the work to put in new information, and now you need to let the computer do the background work and file it away. You need to let it save. If you're not doing that, let's say you're doing any other method where you're sitting down and then you're getting straight back up and going like right back to your life, you are skipping the saving phase, okay? And it's like shutting down a computer while it's mid-saving. It's going to save part of it, hopefully, right? But the rest might just be out the window, like I said. And that's something that I don't think I've ever heard before. I think it's something that's very, very important to know, because it just speeds up your manifestation. It speeds up your process in terms of like regulating yourself, regulating your emotions. I find that if I do this method, even if I don't feel good during, normally the filing phase is what makes me feel a lot better after the fact. And it's almost like you can feel this physical switch, which you don't have to feel it, but I've noticed that I felt it a lot quicker and a lot easier, and I was just a lot more at peace with what I was doing because I didn't feel like I was putting so much time and effort into it. I was burning myself out, and then I was constantly looking to like see if it worked, not even in a, oh, where is it, but like a, I put all this time and effort into it, and sometimes it worked and then sometimes it took a little longer. That can be very discouraging at times. So you are not making manifestation part of your like main to-do list. You are making it a really, really small part of your day, as it should be, because manifestation is just, sorry, little cat break. Manifestation is literally part of your everyday life. You do it every second of every day. So even if you are now consciously manifesting, you shouldn't make it something that you actively have to put so much time and effort into. I feel like that kind of defeats the purpose. Learning how to consciously manifest should be about integrating it into your day in a way where you can, let's say you go to an appointment and you realize you're 5 minutes early and you have 2 minutes in the car till you have to get out of the car. Use those 2 minutes, because you know you have to, like, let's say go into the building and walk up the stairs, and that can take like 3 to 4 minutes. Boom, there's your session. It is so easy to integrate in like small moments here and there, and then you can go about your appointment or do whatever you need to do, and then you can repeat it when you go to bed late at night or when you like brush your teeth or whatever. I mean, technically it would be great if you could really zone out and just kind of maybe even close your eyes or just be like, you know, not do something on the side. But if that's what you want to do, go and try it out, go test it out. You can see if that works for you. But I feel like this is something you can just easily integrate at any point of your day, because that's how conscious manifestation should be. It shouldn't be a, I'm gonna grind and I'm gonna hustle and it's, you know, like quantity over quality. I think learning how to really manifest is learning how to utilize the quality of it to get the result that you want. So with as little effort as possible, because it's not supposed to be hard. It's not supposed to be a lot of effort, and it's not supposed to be you hustling all day, every day to get what you want. So if you guys have any questions, please leave a comment down below. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it cleared up some things for you. I know that when I found out about this, it was like, I had an epiphany. It was so, just this beautiful moment, because I was like, this is made for my brain. This is how it's supposed to be. And I really, really hope that a lot of people who may be struggling can take this and realize, yes, it is that easy. Yes, it is that quick and simple. And you can literally switch from one moment to the next. And like I said, I tested this out with a bunch of stuff, smaller things, bigger things. And I mean, the results were just beautiful, because you know, our brains aren't meant to be stuck in a bad place forever. And if you are really working with it instead of against it, and instead of utilizing all of your energy to try, it's almost like you're forcing change, right? When you're like robotically affirming all day, every day, it's still like hounding that change into your subconscious. And I personally, like, after all the research I've done, don't believe that this is how it's meant to be. Some things can take longer. Sure, if you are doing self-concept work, for example, it can take longer to become a full assumption, but you're going to see results instantly, even if it's just in the smallest things. And I think that's a big problem in the community, is people get really, really small signs and they either overlook them or misinterpret them. Might be a good video topic too, if anybody's interested, to actually see where your manifestation is already taking place, even after just one session, okay? Because that is what is happening. Most people just don't notice or recognize it because they're waiting for the big result, when the results are slowly trickling in sometimes, and you should go with it instead of, you know, thinking it's not working, because I promise you, it's always working, and it's always working in your favor. You just need to let it. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of your day, and I will see you in the next video.